How's it going, guys? I wanted to get on here today as I went through my weekly check-in for myself and just kind of show you the steps that are taken and what's usually needed for these and just what we go through to be able to track this information so that we can ensure that we get the results that we're looking for. So I haven't tracked on here in a few days. I have it all in my app on my phone, so we'll go through and do this real quick. So on the 28th, 174. So this day, if I remember correctly, I was really busy with work, so I didn't have a lot of time to sit down and eat, is why I was so short on calories. That's going to happen from time to time. Obviously not an ideal scenario, so if it was something that kept happening, I would have to look and see an alternate routes to be able to get in my calories than what I was doing. But okay, we have killing it in the fiber department. I really need to work on that next. So now, let's see, for the next day. So this day is terrible. We didn't meet any of our minimum requirements. Is it going to completely derail me from my ability to hit my goal in the long run? No, just slows down progress. Especially when I only got 4 hours of sleep at night too. That's awesome. So these are not ideal scenarios all of the time. So 29th. So this week overall, I discovered how to eat more protein in the form of yogurt with some granola. So that's been huge. Been getting me closer to the goal. Still not going to ever hit this goal for this cycle because I've already switched this week. But it was, slow learning process. So 4 weeks into this and I have yet to hit a goal that I've set for myself. But my body has been recompositioning, so that's been helpful. Holy shit, I'm really bad on this fiber. So that day was a training day. I did not get anywhere near these calories, but I did get above the minimum threshold. So it's a semi-win. It's not really a big one though. Oh, just for the next day to do terrible again. Wow. So you can see, keeping track of all of these things allows you to see how good or bad you may have done. Like I had 2 days this week of not eating anywhere near enough food. And that's going to hinder my ability to recover from the workouts correctly. Well, luckily this week I switched my workouts, so I won't have to try to handle that type of stress. And this probably won't cost me as much as it would as if I were doing the exact same thing I was last week. So I lucked out there. So this is now heading into Saturday. On the weekends, I don't force myself any type of restrictions. So this is just me splurging and eating whatever it is that I want. And you can see how the fat shoots up tremendously on these days because if you're going out to eat and things like that, generally not going to be the best options. I'm not trying to make them the best options either, so that's like my mental break. Do 5 days of really consistent as best I can, and then I do 2 days of whatever I want, but generally around halfway through the second day I don't want to eat shit anymore because it just sucks. So since I knew my workouts were changing next week, I went ahead and made sure to get a bunch of carbs in yesterday. Did not get enough protein in at all. But like I said, I don't hold any standards. But I was also eating semi-good yesterday. So for the reason I had higher protein and much lower fat, as you can see. So I eliminated the fat day to 1 day. So if we look at this last week, all throughout the week I did pretty well. I had one bad day on the weekend. Right back to doing good the following day. So for that being the thing that I struggled with leading up until that point, that was a good correction. Now I need to move one more column over and work on our fiber. Because what is this from yesterday? 12. Well, double digits. About a third of what I need. Alright, so that's all the way up until today. This morning I weighed in at 212. So now we will go ahead and just take a look at the weekly reports before we go and do our survey. So, scroll down here. Having the average is going to be the thing that tells us the most information, right? So if we don't have the average, it's not going to be able to give us a very clear picture of what it is that we were trying to accomplish. So let's just making sure the right macros. So this week, calorie-wise, I was low, below the threshold, so I wanted to try to hit that. Basically 2,800 is the minimum, so I was about 100 calories below that. Protein was the highest it's been yet, especially from this 3-week phase. So we added 10 grams of protein on average per week. That's a good trend. Carbohydrates were actually a little bit lower this week than they were on average. So not a bad thing, but and the fat was the lowest. So that was also trending downward. So anytime we can have the fat trending down and the protein trending upwards, we're going to see positive body composition results, which is what I've noticed. Like my weight has not changed a lot, but I have been getting leaner. So these ratios this week, 23% fat, that's right where I wanted to be, is on the high end. So it's pretty hard to stay at that 18% if you want to have any type of cheat days. But this is showing you that, on Saturday I had way too much fat and I ate out for every meal, and I was still able to almost hit some of these macro percentages. Now I need to lower the carbohydrates and bring the protein way up, but next week is going to be a different phase. So this week I would give myself a B. Right? And my average weight is 211.2, which is down a little bit from here. So that could be another, why we're noticing the body recomposition of losing 2 pounds, because I haven't lost any strength. So for the next 2 weeks, I have different macros starting today. So we will see how these affect us and what we're able to do with these. All right, once we're done with that, go back over to the tracking sheet, and we'll just do our survey. Email, first, last name. That was able. Decrease fats. My activity levels are about in the middle. I walk around a lot, but not doing 2 workouts a day by any means. Average hours of sleep this week, 5, maybe. Energy, about 4. Mood, 4. Hunger, it's been like a 2 because I'm just stuffing my face all the time. Stress levels, 3. Have alcohol this week? Yeah, I had one drink. 50 milligrams on training days. This week might have been every day. Release Yes. Yes. 4. Yep. So these questions down here are usually pertaining to how the workout went, and just kind of markers to give me an idea of if the stimulus was correct. The feeling of being nauseous is usually a sign of going too hard. So anytime you feel that, that is generally not something we're looking for. Every once in a while, that is going to be the goal, but not every time. This is going to lead us to point out if there's any inflammation that we may be experiencing or anything like that, possibly. This is also another sign of overtraining, potentially. Yes. Closer. All right, and that is it. So, all right. So that is all we need to do. So, tracking the nutrition stuff, as though it may be tedious, does give us a good picture of what it is that's happening and how our body responds to these things. So without having at least some sort of baseline, like now I have at least a month's worth of information of knowing like what do I need to adjust. So I could potentially stop tracking what I eat right now and probably still be able to make good progress because I have a better idea of what those meals should look like and what those days need to look like, so on and so forth. I'll continue tracking because I just want to see how it's going, and for me it's super easy. So I can now come in once a week, fill this out, go and do my weekly report, and then do my survey, and then I'm done. And I don't have to look at the spreadsheet again until next week, unless I like to come in and put my weight in and usually fill these 3 out, but that's everybody's own prerogative. So any questions, you can always reach me through Instagram and just shoot me a DM. So any of my clients, if you're watching this, feel free to reach out with any questions that you may have.